Hello everyone, I'm Gabrielle and welcome back and welcome to my first book talk. I'm so excited. And today I'm going to be talking about Again But Better. If you didn't know what this is about a girl named Shane who goes to study abroad in London for a semester, and it's like her chance to make things right, to right all her college mistakes, make friends, pursue boys, and find adventures. And if you didn't know, this is by Christine Riccio, who actually started out as a booktuber, and then she finally released her debut novel last year on May 21st. So that will be it for the non-spoilery section. So if you haven't read it, leave and then come back. Okay, well the first thing is when Shane said, like, if we got to hang with Taylor Swift and the Pope, that would be a 10. I'm like, that's a very weird combo, but squad goals. I am all for this. I want this to happen. Oh, don't get me started on page 83. Get back on the ground, Shane. He has a girlfriend. And I was like, wait, what? He has a girlfriend? Where did I miss this? I remember reading he has a girlfriend, I just forgot. And speaking of the girlfriend and Pilot and Shane's situation, and I saw that a lot of people were mad that there was cheating in this book. People, that's a real world thing. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. There's going to be problems in real life and in books. And yes, I'm pretty sure Amy is a sweet girl, but she also read Shane's notebook, which was very kind of not right. And then here I just have Chad equals jerk voice and a jerk. But no, really, I imagined him having a jerk voice. He sounds like a really, really stupid person. And when he kissed Shane in that club, oh boy, I wanted to slap him. But in the second half of the book, Shane finally slaps him the second time. And then I just have Shane kissing random stranger. What? Even? What? And then, oh my god. Then on page 162, I just have stupid Sarah. Sarah. It's not Sarah. Okay, this is the parent scene. And Sarah, just says, I'm not pre-med, I'm pre-law. And then says she's in a creative writing program. She's not in a pre-med track. That's not even a thing in London. And I was like, stupid Sarah! And then that's when all things turned to heck. And then when her dad started yelling at her, I was crying. I was like, oh my god. And then her dad smashed her phone and told her never call us again. And I'm like, how could you? I also want to point out that's also a real life situation. Really, Shane? So this is when Shane was going to tell him about how she feels and everything. And then she doesn't. Be more confident. Tell him, you mundane fool. Instead, she asked, are you excited to get home? Shane! You were supposed to tell him. And then when they were all leaving, when Shane got to the airport, she's like, no, wait. I need to tell him before I leave. I need to tell him. Then she rushes back to the Carlston to tell him no one's there. I'm like, oh my. And then also in the back of my mind, I was also thinking, what about your flight? And now we're going to talk about part 2, 2017. Okay, so on page 189, she's saying something about her boyfriend. And I'm like, who the heck is boyfriend? Who is it? And then immediately on the next page, she says his name is Melvin. And then Shane decides to go to the place where Pilot works to tell him the feelings, all the feels, because she just can't move past it. And she goes to his workplace to talk to him. And then I'm like, okay, Shane, I'm all for you telling him, but maybe shoot him a text or a call first. So finally they sit down, they're at the cafe, and she goes to tell him, but instead, my boyfriend proposed to me yesterday. I wanted to throw the book, but I didn't because this is my only copy, and I just wanted to at Shane for not just telling him right there on the spotlight. She said she would. My thoughts were, this isn't how this is supposed to go, Shane. I mean, I probably would have done that too. Shane is very relatable for anyone. And I just say I loved all the jokes in here. And also, I'm thinking, who is this red-haired lady? And then they get stuck on the elevator when they're leaving. Oh no, what's gonna happen now? What's gonna happen? And then Shane is freaking out, like, why am I back in the flat? I was in the elevator with Pilot in New York. Did I pass out? No, you actually time traveled back to 2011. And my notes for this part says, what the truck is happening. Back in time? And then Pilot starts getting mad, like, did you pay someone to recreate this flat? And I'm like, how could you think this, Pilot? Why would you think that Shane would do that? Why? All she did was get on an elevator with you, and then y'all are suddenly back in 2011. How could you blame this on her? And page 215, all I wrote was, I am confusion. Pure confusion. When they see a newspaper that read January 9th, 2011, what the butt? So they did go back in time. Why are they back in time? Who did this? How are they there? What happened? Is the elevator a magical elevator? And then Pilot gets mad at Shane again because they're back in 2011. He's like, that's not her fault. I was like, yeah, I don't like you right now. You can just leave. And then finally we get the long-awaited pen joke. Pilot pen, no association with the fountains. And Shane goes, so like the ballpoint pens then? And he said, exactly. I will forever love his name. Oh my gosh, they kissed. Oh my gosh, they did it. They kissed. It's finally happening. It's happening. And then chapter 10, the title. The green light, I want it. Lord reference. No, really, I wrote Lord reference on this paper. And then finally, we think Pilot broke up with Amy, right? No, I broke up with Amy. We're all like, yay, yay, yes. Nope, she didn't get the voicemail, like, at all. And so she still shows up in London and surprises him. And then Shane's like, how could you lie to me? And then later on, he broke up with Amy in person. Alright, and then I wrote chapter 16, the bathroom scene. Oh my god. I was listening to that scene in the car. They go into the bathroom of the hostel. They go into the shower and are making out. Pilot presses that little button thing that turns the water on, and then they got their own private room. I was like, oh my god. I was like, it's happening. Finally. And this, I just really thought this was a good quote. It's weird how we have to get a little older to realize that people are just people. It should be obvious, but it's not. And my notes for that were such words of wisdom. Oh, page 340, we have to talk about this. I have to talk about this and how I was all in my feels. So this is when Shane actually responds to Leo's messages. So Leo says, yeah, I broke up with someone a couple of weeks ago. And then Shane was like, you had a girlfriend? I thought you just did hookups for how long? Why wasn't it on Facebook? And then Leo just sends, I'm gay. Before they went back in time, I'm thinking, so he was going through that all alone with no one to talk to. And he was talking about how his dad found out that he would be kicked out of the house. And if he told his dad he's gay, his dad would be like, no, you're not. And then the very last sentence, he says, oh, I'd be exiled at every family gathering. And then Shane was like thinking about how she can hear their Uncle Dan, which I assume is Leo's dad, saying exactly that. How many homophobic remarks has he had to endure from Uncle Dan over the years? He was like, I just want to be normal. And I'm like, boo, you are normal. Oh, and then this is where my spirits were uplifted again after that little moment. On the next page, after Leo says, thanks for being here, Shane says, call me, beat me if you need to reach me. And all I wrote down on my paper was, Kim Possible reference. But I don't know if that's actually, I loved all the references I could make. And then the last few things I have to talk about is lamppost. Lamppost. I loved that. I started dying laughing when I read that. Our word will be lamppost. Like later on in the book when we get Shane asked a question, he said lamppost. He used the word. That will forever be iconic. Every time I think of lamppost, I'll think of this book. And then the last thing I have is from the epilogue. And all it says is, Pilot proposes, me crying. Ah. I literally started crying when he proposed. I was like, oh my god. I also want to apologize if this was not the best book talk in the world. This is my first book talk. But anyways, I personally love the book and I thought I could relate to it. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. And if it wasn't the best and detailed book talk you've ever seen, I apologize. They will get better. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye. I hate that. A second, So as you know, there's two parks in this, Okay, so as you know, there's two parks, Why am I saying parks? As you know, there's two parts in this